Two will enter. One will win. Welcome to the fight. Welcome to the knockout.
Welcome everyone to episode 17 of the Knockout. This is Owlman versus Darth Vader. This is another fun one that I will be subbing in for again because of cancellation or family matter or something that had to happen, and I'm subbing in because I'm trying to keep the trains running this season. So let's see how Chris can handle a substitution. So please welcome Chris, the comic vet, arguing for the Sith Lord himself, Darth Vader. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
Good to see you. Good to see you. So, are you all set and ready to go?
Yeah. It was interesting last time. I got to be honest, going up against Ra's al Ghul kind of tugged at the heartstrings, as I am a fan of Ra's al Ghul. Not the case this time.
Yes. Well, I remember thinking that Owlman, when I was thinking of episodes here, that Owlman was, the evil version of Batman, and be a lot of fun to have that character on if someone could argue him, and someone picked him, and I certainly never planned to argue for him, but well, hopefully I could do him justice, and my friends who are DC fans can help carry me across the finish line. So because certainly I don't.
The thing is about DC fans, a lot of them were Star Wars fans first.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if they have weak minds or strong minds. Awesome. Well, welcome, Miss Crucius. But you wanted to keep this show a little bit shorter than the normal because you had stuff you wanted to do. So I'll go ahead and kick this party off with my opening statement then, since you deferred to me.
Yes, sir.
All right. Here we go. Well, I don't know much about Owlman other than general specifics, but what I do know is Owlman is basically the equivalent of Batman, and Earth 3. I'll agree more a specific Batman from Earth 3, the crime syndicate, basically, crime lords, mafia, Justice League if they'd gone bad. And we all know how powerful and how smart and how just good Batman is. The statement always is, give Batman prep time and he can kick anyone's butt. Let's take away the one thing that holds Batman back, his sense of killing, and you got Owlman. I wouldn't want to cross, you got Owlman who has his exoskeleton suit, cunning, every bit of fighting that Batman knows how, and he'll kill crime syndicate person. This is the one you don't want to mess with. Just his mental mentality and what he can do. Just plenty of stuff about him. So I got a few more things to add, but I really didn't do my opening statement quite so well, but we'll go ahead and let Chris have his opening statement for Darth Vader. So take it away, Chris, with your opening statement.
Thank you, Matt. That was well done. That was well done. What really has to be said about the iconic Darth Vader? This is someone that is arguably the most famous villain in Hollywood history. His comic book right now is arguably one of the best comic books across Marvel Comics. I'll put it to you this way. When Anakin Skywalker showed up on Ahsoka, everyone stopped and froze. Why? Because they had images of Darth Vader. That's just it. We're talking about an iconic character who was introduced in 1977. If you show his face, that mask, anywhere across this planet, they know who he is. They know what he represents. Remember that scene in Rogue One at the end? You know what I'm talking about. When the Rebel Alliance all of a sudden started getting scared in that one dark corridor, when that red lightsaber lighted up, don't tell me that you were like, oh no, it's Darth Vader. You were like, oh no, it's Darth Vader. So that really doesn't much need to be said about the iconic character. I kind of feel bad for Matt, because Owlman is a character that should be respected, but he's going up against a titan here. He's going up against a force of nature.
Well, to be fair in the argument here, I mean, it's a guy, if if it was me and you and all that on our own secret mission, and here comes a guy with a real sword on the other end, made of metal, I would freak out a little bit too. It doesn't matter if it's a laser sword or not. I'd be going, "Oh shit, there's a guy with a sword. No, I'm gonna get behind you." So, ooh, one's made of lightning. So, I'm going to use some of Wednesday Night Review's notes that he sent me because he asked if I could do some of that. So
Sure.
he mentions the fact that Owlman, like Batman, has regular contact with people with telekinesis powers, like Martian Manhunter. So that's basically the Force in all the equivalents when telekinesis and moving things around. And so it might be slightly different because it's the Force and not Martian Manhunter's Martian powers, but it's not gonna be so surprising that it shocks him. It's gonna be like going like, interesting challenge. And also, while Darth Vader has his lightsaber and all that, he'll use a variety of quick attacks and deceptions like poisons, grass grenades, and lights to try and be able to surprise Vader and attack him from a distance. In which case, so he can get around, because we all know it's a little bit dangerous when a sword can cut through even his enhanced armor that increases his strength. And finally, that Darth Vader has certain, shall we say, health issues, from his little vacation on a lava countryside river, that he needs a certain suit to be able to survive. If Owlman can damage that suit, you got time running against Vader that he now has to overcome a disadvantage to get out of there alive because his own suit's bringing him down and leaving him exposed. He needs that to survive. Otherwise, he wouldn't be Darth Vader. He'd be Darth Anakin without it. He needs that suit to survive. So if I can take down that suit, I can bring down something else working against you and create a time clock. So what do you say about that?
It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So let's remember, if you go back to the Clone Wars, that Anakin Skywalker was actually a general. This is a man who is of a military background. He's fought wars. He's led thousands and thousands into war. He knows what he's doing. He is someone of great strategy. This is not a fly-by-night character. There's only that one person that seems to get under his skin, and he's not involved in this argument. So the fact is, while Owlman might look cool and may try to attack from afar, let's just remember, we have seen Darth Vader throw that lightsaber and literally wave it to where he wants it to go. And by the way, if Owlman's far away, he can still literally use the Force and pull him forward. Darth Vader has pulled down spaceships attempting to take off and rip the sides and the walls off of that starship as it tried to get away. This is not a fool. This is not someone who's outside of his prime. He's done well through his entire existence, whether what side of the Force he's wielding, but we're only talking about Darth Vader at this point. That he is a strategist. He is, as much as he likes to throw quick quips and get under people's skin that way, he is someone of great tactical and great ability in hand-to-hand combat. He doesn't necessarily always have to rely on the Force, as he can battle literally with just one hand when it comes to wielding that lightsaber. Not only that, he's a pilot. Like this, again, I almost feel bad. But we are butting heads here.
All Batmans are pilots, though, too. I mean, Batjet, Batboat.
But yes, that's a good point. But again, this is someone who only was bested by one other character once or twice. Twice. Twice.
See, he can't even make up his own mind. How's he supposed to?
I was just wondering. Okay, so when he decided to take some beachfront by a lava river, he was technically Darth Vader at that point to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say twice that he's been bested twice by the same character.
Well,
and that was not Owlman.
I give I give you props that, yeah, you are a brilliant military leader for he led through his things, but also we're dealing with someone who is brilliant himself, just like Batman, genius level intellect. According to my research on post-crisis, that Owlman is chemically enhanced super cortex in the brain here. Not to mention that he is I believe the word was nihilist. Basically, I believe that all values are baseless and that nothing can be known or communicated, and that true nihilists believe in nothing, have no loyalties, and no purpose other than the impulse to destroy. Whereas not Batman, Darth Vader here does have his little weakness here. Like, he did things for Padme, and he then had this, he betrayed the Emperor. What?
Anakin did that.
Oh,
Anakin had the ties to Padme.
well, it's still the tie is still there. Otherwise, he wouldn't have turned his back on the Emperor to save his son. I mean, the only thing Vader has going for him, that he was an absentee father for 20 years. That just because, my wife, my pregnant wife.
No, he didn't know his children existed, so he wasn't an absentee father. When he realized his children were around, he went into their lives and said, "Hey, I am your father."
Yeah, let's skip over the diapers, the potty training, the schooling, the college. Now all the knowledge exists.
Hey man, don't blame the father if the father didn't know they were around.
He knew they were around.
He tried everything to get into their lives once he found out they existed.
How quickly did he find his son when he was looking for him?
Quickly, because they were looking for each other. That's
love
through the Force.
He knew that he knew those little Rugrats are out there, but he didn't choose until 20 years later.
I don't know.
But anyway, that's, like I said, you got Darth Vader, who does have, he does have stormtroopers with him, and he does have his, loyalty to his master, but he does betray too. But Owlman is the true nihilist, that he has those brief partnerships, but he turned in the movie Crisis on Two Earths, he turned like that on them, took the super bomb, and was gonna, when he learned that there's multiverse out there, and was gonna destroy all life on Earth, like destroying Earth Prime and destroy the multiverse, because the true nihilist, that the only purpose that would have mattered was just total destruction. And so he would have killed himself and everything else, whereas Darth Vader, I can bring order to my new empire, rule with at my side. It seems like life and his loyalties, and he has little things holding him back. Even though the dark side is power, he's still not doing what it takes to defeat someone who's totally.
The thing is, whether you walk as a good guy or necessarily a bad guy, you need a code. And if you're willing to evaporate everything out of existence, including yourself, that's not a code. And you need a code to be a successful villain. There has to be an end game to which you want to represent yourself best. Whether it's Darth Vader, whether it's Doctor Doom, or whether it's even Darkseid. These people, these persons, these bad guys all have a code. Now, the interesting thing, if you want to argue coming from a nihilistic point of view, Darth Vader comes from a line of Sith, literally where he was studied Darth Nihilus, one of the most nihilistic characters in the history of Star Wars. Darth Vader studied him, took his. By the way, he has that cool mask. If you don't know who Darth Nihilus is, you need to find out and look up that character. Just aside from everything that Matt and I are doing, Darth Nihilus is a fascinating character. But to represent a true villain, that's why you still have people today saying Thanos was right. You need a villain with that code, whether he's a 2IC, a second in command, or someone who is trying to prop themselves up to be the leader of what they feel a reshaped world or a reshaped galaxy or a reshaped empire should look like. And that's what made Darth Vader so special. And when he realized that he had children, he wanted his children to lead with him, just like what he wanted with his wife when she passed away at the hands of the evil Obi-Wan Kenobi. just saying.
Yeah. But like I said, Darth Vader, yeah, he is almost I kind of argue. I could almost argue both sides of the definition of who the true villain is, because, like I said, sometimes the best villains are sympathetic. That's why Thanos was right, and why people say that people are sympathetic towards Darth Vader in some way, that he's this suffering individual who did what he did for the sake of love and try and save, and that he went down the dark path. How many people out there have made mistakes because they did it for the right reason? Owlman doesn't have that justification. He was, like I said, he was going to betray his own side. Money didn't matter, power didn't matter, conquering multiple Earths didn't matter. No, he was going to take his bomb, destroy Earth Prime, and end all realities, because in a multiverse where each decision creates two new Earths, in which case one choice and the opposite choice, he made the only decision that mattered, and that was to destroy all worlds. So you got someone who's cold-hearted like this. How are you going to face and overcome somebody who, you know what, I'm going to kill myself and everyone else who's ever lived and existed? You will betray. You will, you will flip-flop back and forth. You fell to the dark side. Now you're back to the light side. You can almost argue that he was supposed to be a true Jedi, or he's supposed to be a Jedi, but he got passed over for promotion, stormed out, and decided to burn down the house behind him.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I
I can respect that. But the one thing you're talking about Owlman wanting to wipe out Earth Prime that's probably the most childish thing that any villain or character would want to do. Because the end game, you can't even rejoice in what you did, because everything ceases to exist. That's an incredibly unimportant character. That's an unimportant way of attempting to be a bad guy. I can understand someone walking around with no moral code, not wanting to participate in anything, not wanting to have any kind of faith, or everything is just wrong in their eyes. Well, then why not reshape it the way that you want? The way that Darth Vader wanted to with the Empire. He saw something that was flawed. He got an idea. An elder statesman, a mentor for sakes, said, hey, this is what we should do. We should have a galactic empire. And Vader thought, that's not a bad idea. Let's give it a go. And whoever stands in the way shall be crushed. That's what a true villain is. That's why Darth Vader should be in the finals to this great competition weeks from now. Let's be honest. We're talking about the most iconic villain in history when it comes to pop culture. It's Darth Vader, arguably the Joker. Pick whatever one you want, but those two should be the ones in the final. Owlman, interesting, fascinating character, but he's just a B-level character in the Batman universe. He's not even on the same realm as Kal-El, Superman. He's not even there. This isn't someone even Darkseid would pay attention to. This is just a B-level character. We're talking about Darth Vader here. Like, literally.
Well, maybe
you show his face to anyone on this planet, anywhere. Doesn't matter what language you're speaking. They know who he is.
Well, maybe John will help you out, since
Sure.
apparently he disagrees about Owlman, since he didn't know who the I was. But you, like I said before, my previous argument, people always say Batman with prep time kicks ass. You got some. I would almost argue that Owlman wouldn't even need the prep time, because he would be constantly knowing and constantly visualizing anything, because he said this is somebody who is a crime lord, a mafia boss. You don't maintain your power as criminal elite. Kingpin doesn't stay on top of his throne without monitoring any potential threats out there. Heroes can let their guard down by instance, or because they're focused on one thing or another. Bad guys are a little more focused than that. So Owlman's not going to let Darth Vader slip into his radar unnoticed. He's going to, just like Batman, you're hardly not gonna be able to touch him. He'll be dark of night behind you before you even know that they're there. Because it's not like the Force is, let's face it, that reliable. Because I sense disturbance in the Force. Clouded the Force is, and then all of a sudden, there go the Jedi. Almost wiped completely out because they were not sensitive enough or couldn't clearly see the danger.
But who did that again? Who wiped out the Jedi?
Both sides. From what I thought, I could understand that both sides could.
It was Darth Vader.
Yeah,
I'll finish your. It was Darth Vader.
Yes, but that doesn't mean like the other side can't cloud or can't. Like I said, if you can use the Force as itself as a weapon and a tool, and you can cloud the other person's vision, so it's not like the Force is completely reliable. And like I said, Owlman, Batman, any other equivalent of them, they have experiences with people with telekinesis, mind readers, can move things. It's not like the magic users. How powerful are people with magic in any comic book universe? But yet they are not the one. But they are not the ones who generally stand at the top and most powerful. You usually have people who kick their butts because all they have is hocus pocus, and not the muscle to back it up as well. So without his magic, he's just a guy with some fancy footwork and can fly a spaceship really nicely. Yes, he commands an army, but what does a mafia boss do? He commands their own criminal organization and with people that they can command. This is not two armies going at each other or two countries going at each other. This is two individuals with their smaller circle, because I don't see Darth Vader parading around with an entire battalion, everywhere he walks. Usually it's a strike force and nothing more.
Okay, that was pretty good. But the thing is, we can refer to it as magic, or we can refer to it as sorcery, like it's been mentioned to him, to Vader's face. But we're talking about the Chosen One here. This is not an entry level Force wielder. This is not someone who does Force shoves or anything like that. We're talking about the Chosen One. That this is the most powerful wielder of the Force of that generation, of that time. The one thing I can respect about what you're doing now is you're not coming out here saying Darth Vader is a dummy, because he's not. You know that as well as I do. That he did grow up in his teen years dealing in a war, so he does have the military background. So there is this strategy, like I mentioned, of not walking in blindly, whether it's one-on-one, hand-to-hand combat. He's not necessarily going to walk in and just charge with the lightsaber. There is some tactics that will be played out here. We're not talking about some sort of dummy. We're talking about Darth Vader who knows what he's up to. And the thing is, with the Force, he can see thoughts. He can see feelings. He can see those kind of things. Now, I know, like you said, Owlman has separated himself for that because he's nihilistic. But that doesn't mean that he's not going to forecast what he's going to do. That Vader will not be able to see it happening. It will happen. Whether Owlman somehow gets to take and have some sort of great plan and Vader walks into some sort of potential trap, rarely has that been successful against Darth Vader. Now you can say, oh, magic this and magic that. But in the Obi-Wan series, we literally saw him not only pull a starship down that was about to try and lead the atmosphere, he picked up sides of mountains and threw them too. Now you did point out some weaknesses to Darth Vader, that yes, he is half machine, and yes, if somehow you can start to hurt some of that machinery, you might be able to slow him down. You may be able to puncture him and take him out a little bit that way. But Owlman is just that, a man. He may have some superhuman abilities that he's kind of upgraded himself, but in the end, he's still just that. Whereas Vader is all of that plus more. Again, simple. If he's far away, he still can pull him and pull him in. There's no magic antidote to the Force. There is no kryptonite. There is nothing like that other than getting under his skin. And like I said before, there's only been one that ever did it, and Owlman is not that one.
Well, I dare you to say that to Legion again here. Owlman is a no limit Batman. Batman jumped off Darkseid. Enough said. If the old man is in a dress,
two different people. You can't be like, oh, that Batman did this and Owlman is like that. It doesn't matter. That's Superman punched Darkseid in the face, and Supergirl is from Krypton, so she's just like no, it doesn't work that way.
Like I said before, the Force itself is not all powerful. After all, what Anakin said in Phantom Menace, like no one can kill a Jedi, and Qui-Gon said, I wish that was true. Even the Attack of the Clones and all that, and here comes that dinosaur-looking green guy with a horn, all that to come with Count Dooku, and he's shot with a gun, and down. So it's like going like, yeah, I thought he could sense that with the Force or sense intentions like that, So yeah, he might have been on the lower end of the Jedi food chain as far as power goes, but that is the example of these guys are flawed. After all, even Sith at one time were just as numerous as the Jedi, and they decided, hey, we're going to be smart and play one apprentice, one master, keep ourselves on the down low. And they maintained a presence because you can't, it's hard to find a strike force so small, like one guy, coming in at you. It's hard, if you don't know he's coming, you're going to see and sense a big army coming at you. One lone guy is a lot harder to detect, especially if he's, working his best to stay unnoticed. So, you got a guy with fancy footwork, magic user, and a weakness.
My argument to that is this: you can't compare Jedi to Sith and how they wield the Force. Yoda would often say, "I'm clouded in the Force," or what. That didn't happen with Vader, and Vader is a god. Vader is the chosen one, the highest midichlorian rate that's ever been recorded in history. So DC can try and up their levels with God tier and that kind of thing. It doesn't matter. We're talking one-on-one here. It's one-on-one. It's not going to last long. And I'm sorry for DC fans. It's not going to last long. We're not putting Bizarro up against Darth Vader here. We're putting Owlman against Darth Vader. There is a difference here. Now, like I said earlier to Matt's point, was a very respectable point. We're dealing with a nihilistic type of character. Okay. But we're going person versus person, character versus character. I respect the villain with the code, not the one that just wants everything to cease to exist. Both villains have an end game, and that is their own self-glory. And Darth Vader reached his. He was everything he was supposed to be. He was the Dark Lord of the Sith. He ruled with an iron fist. And in the end, he wanted his children to join him. And when his children said no, he went with his children. He did the right thing and went with his children.
Yeah, and so he showed his weakness at that point. But like I said, but your biggest weakness is your biggest weakness is your armor. And also, your second weakness, your biggest weakness is your ego and your sense of, because he's always like, it was in the the third movie, Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, that I'm twice as powerful as I was, Count Dooku. He's boasting at how much more powerful he is this time, and I'm going to kick your ass this time. He's going to look at Vader's going to look at someone with the equivalent of a bounty hunter he had on his ship and think, you're beneath me, you're not a threat. And he's going to overlook the true danger that Owlman possesses, and then allow Owlman to strike first, knowing the true danger of Darth Vader, that he can strike first. And because he striked first, he planned ahead, obviously, and therefore that can bring you down. Your sense of I'm powerful enough, you're not going to threaten me, will lead to your downfall as Darth Vader.
Nobody hit Vader first. Whether it was Vader or Anakin, there was always the defense. Vader never let anyone strike first and cause damage. Like I said, there's only been one character that's defeated him, but that wasn't because of the strike first. He is someone that doesn't back down and walks towards the challenge. That being said, this is a man who's wielded weapons that blew up planets. Hello, Alderaan. Can someone answer the phone? And Alderaan, I'm trying to remember. Did I dial the wrong number here? It doesn't exist anymore. His weapons are endless. It's countless. He doesn't wield an army of millions. He wields an army of billions with a B. He only reports to one person and doesn't necessarily even have to do that. That's more of a respect to the chain of command. Just, hey, by the way, we're going over here. Okay, go ahead.
All-powerful Darth Vader. He's afraid of a cranky old white guy who can shoot lightning out of his fingertips. Ooh.
Well, if we're gonna debate that, then there's no point in doing this because everyone's afraid of the cranky old white guy.
I had to throw that in there, just a little bit of fun. So, all right. We have reached 30 minutes. Do you have any extra points that you haven't brought up yet? Because I do want to be respectful of your time schedule that you wanted to do.
Thank you. Just again, this is a character that we've all grown up with, and we've seen the faults, we've seen the highs, the lows. And the thing is, just remember every time that Darth Vader, whether it's on a small or big screen, shows up, everyone stops and pays attention. Everyone's got a critique on the take that they just recently saw of Darth Vader. That's just because he's a cultural icon. How many people, seriously, that voted can speak the same of Owlman? What's Owlman's first appearance? What's that issue? I forget. Can
Justice
someone help me?
Society of America 29.
As you can type, sure. But off the top of your head, again, all of those that voted, I ask you, what was his first appearance? What was his last appearance? What was the one where Superman did something to him? What was that issue? I forget.
There you go. Justice League of America 29. All right. Well, my closing statement and all that, like I said, you got a guy who's just as smart as Batman, just as intelligent, just with all the cool, powerful, advanced technology toys as Batman, but without the core mentality of thou shalt not kill. You know, this is the nihilist who literally has no allies, just destroy. You could argue that, yes, Vader is powerful. He second in command, of an entire galaxy, but he's lost time and time again. And you could almost argue that he only had real victories, solid victories on his own as the good guy, as Anakin Skywalker. Vader has a horrible winning record. Anakin's had a good record. Vader, like I said, he's down 2 legs and an arm. And he lost his other mechanical one in another fight. This guy just can't. This guy's losing arms left and right. He's that guy on Monty Python and the Holy Grail. We'll call it a draw. That's
well done. Well done. Well done.
That's Vader. He's like, we'll call it a draw. So he's but whereas Owlman, he'll team up with you. He'll lead. He'll do all that, and in a drop of the hat, he'll destroy everything, just like Thanos was going to do the second time around. Because, to quote Owlman, it doesn't matter, just in the life. And when you have that mentality of nothing matters, not even life itself. Vader had Padme. According to you, he had love for his children, he said, absentee father for the first 20 years of their life, skipped everything.
He didn't know they existed. That's not a fair argument.
But Owlman, nothing. Even his girlfriend and Superwoman, or Superwoman, evil Wonder Woman, we'll go ahead and kill her too. It didn't matter because he made the only decision that worth matter. So Owlman will come out ahead because he can fight and outsmart Darth Vader. Darth Vader might be the icon classic, but there's a reason why that the Empire has fallen. Even the all-powerful Sith couldn't hold it forever. And that's my closing statement.
Okay, well done.
Yep. But apparently my mom's here, and so I need to wrap this thing up myself.
Okay.
Here, so
Hello, Mom.
I will go ahead and go vote real quick, guys, and we'll about a minute or from now here, I will show the voting link, and we will see who wins. So, but this has been fun, Chris. Darth Vader definitely had a lot of fun fights here. He made it further than he did last season, which I am grateful for, because it's like, ooh, I want Darth Vader to make a good far. Ooh, I want Superman to make it far. And then they got paired against each other the first round. It was like, son of a god damn.
Oh, you can't put the two biggest iconics on either side of the fence against each other. Superman versus Darth Vader. That's tough.
I didn't do it. The random poll did, and I'm still on the fence.
Yeah.
Put the
Yeah.
vote for final rankings.
But the thing, it was interesting. You mentioned just now that we're beyond our final statements. You mentioned that all he's known is for losses. They literally named a movie after him, The Empire Strikes Back. Hello,
Empire Strikes Back, not The Empire Wins.
The Empire Strikes Back.
The only thing he claimed was an arm for an arm.
Rogue One. Like again, that was another victory for Vader.
He
Never
was
mind.
fighting non-force users with no lightsabers. Yeah,
He went up against an entire battalion and wiped them out
yeah.
single-handedly.
You give me
I
a
should say
gun.
squadron. He took on
give-
an entire squadron.
You give me a gun and a barrel full of fish, I can hit something too.
Apparently, they couldn't.
All right,
And he was there point blank.
all right, so we'll see who wins here. So the outcome of Owlman from Earth 3 in the Crime Syndicate versus Darth Vader and his Empire. The results are in, and it is Darth Vader with 40 votes, Owlman with 39. That was close. And we'll go ahead and stop sharing the screen here because that's the outcome here. So, all right. Well, I thought I had you. I went to Mark here with Legion here going, hey, I'm gonna need some help. Please send out some your DC friends and vote for me. I thought I would have had that in the bag then, but
I just want to let everyone know, never underestimate the power of fantasy sports. And when you don't mix your comic book people with your sports people, those sports people have heard of Darth Vader and they showed up tonight.
yeah.
So thank you all of those that are in my multiple fantasy football leagues that decided to vote.
Yes. Well, all I have to say is good luck, Darth Vader, in facing your next opponent, which will be Venom. So we'll see. We'll see who's more popular then.
I think maybe I'll have Legion of Comics on my side that time. So.
Well, we'll have to see. Yeah, he did say something like that. Well, I'm going to let you go. You got something. My mom is here, and so I got to go talk to her. Thank you, everyone who voted, everyone who's in the chat. Legion, thank you for your help. Just sorry we didn't come out ahead this time. So I'll see you in a few weeks, Chris, for your next matchup.
Sure. Thank you for having me, Matt. I appreciate it.
No problem. Take care, everyone. I'll see you guys next time. Happy collecting.